Good evening, everyone. As acting chair, I will call to order the select board meeting of Monday, April 30th, 2026, and I would invite you all to join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America,
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. All right, so this is our first meeting after our most recent election. So I would like to say welcome to our two newest members, Mr. Pete O'Shaughnessy and Ms. Megan Nolan. Thank you for a election well run. Welcome into the breach. Before we open it up for some discussions and some other welcomes, I'd like to say also thank you to everyone who ran this year. It is a true tribute to this town, the amount of people that we have that come out and run and put themselves up for scrutiny, and for that 90 days of real effort to represent this town and help us all move forward and with great representation. So thank you and welcome.
Also, thank you to the town staff for the work of staffing all the polling locations and counting all the ballots and helping everybody with the process of running for office.
Late night on Tuesday, very late night.
Thank you.
For the members?
Pardon?
Anything from the members?
I'll just say quick, really excited to be here. Just a quick intro about me. East Milton resident from Precinct 6. Just wanted to thank the residents for coming out for the election, putting your trust in us, and we're excited to get to work.
Thank you. Thank you to the amazing town staff who really did support us through this whole process. And I am also excited to be here and thank everyone for a great election.
Well, welcome aboard, and hopefully it's a smooth ride for all of us. I'm looking forward to working with you, and thank you for running. And it's a big step forward to step into this, but congratulations.
Yeah, we're all sort of in the same place you all right now. We're jumping the seat and it becomes kind of a whirlwind, but we are all here as a resource. Here to work together and come to the best decisions we can. So thank you again. And now we move to some of the formalities. We have our previous chair is no longer with us. So we have to go through the process of nominating a new chair. I'll be acting as I was vice chair previously. And this was a meeting where we sort of reorganized. So I will open the floor for any nominations of the chair.
I nominate Winston Daly for the chair.
Second.
All right. I accept.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, John. Thank you. Any other nominations or objections? All right, so this will be a roll call vote. I will go last, so Mr. Driscoll.
Yes.
Member Hagerty?
Yes.
Snow?
Yes.
Mr. Obashan?
Yes.
And me, I will abstain. All right, thank you all. This is thank you for putting your trust in me, and hopefully we'll have a great year, so thank you.
Congrats.
And then we will need to find my replacement for vice chair.
I nominate Mrs. Hagerty.
Second.
Let's go right in there. Seconded by Mr. Obersheimer. Any objections? Comments? All right, we'll call vote again. Mr. Driscoll?
Yes.
Ms. Nolan?
Oh, is it? Yes.
Mr. Obersheimer?
Yes.
Myself, yes.
Thank you.
I think we kind of have the option of a secretary, but I don't believe for the last year that we had one.
Secretary.
Were you secretary?
Yeah.
So,
The primary role is to sign documents that Lynn tells you to sign and to help out
That's right.
Pretty much it,
That's it.
right?
Yep.
Sign some documents?
Yeah.
Nominate Mr. Robertson.
All right,
Yeah,
second.
just make the lawyer do that, so.
This is a good point. I will second that nomination. Any objections or comments? All right, roll call vote. We'll start with myself. Yes. Mr. Driscoll.
Yes.
Ms. Haggerty.
Yes.
Ms. Nolan.
Yes.
Mr. Obersheimer.
Stay.
All right, congratulations and welcome.
Thanks.
Immediately with
Right
the
up
job.
already.
Thank you. All right. So, one thing I would like to say, we never went over in our last configuration how everyone would like to be referred to. We went by first name, last name. We went by member. Is everyone okay with referring to each other by first names?
Follow me.
Got a little confused with Megan's, but I think we
There's
will.
Megan H and Megan
And
N.
Is everyone okay with that when we're in discussions for first names?
Yes.
That'd be okay with me.
I'm fine. I'm not
I
offended
prefer
about
it.
All right.
You just need to designate which Megan you're talking
I'll
to.
try to be looking at whichever Megan I'm
Yeah.
speaking to at the moment, but I think it'll make it easier for the conversations, just having one language. So those are our first three items, I believe. Fourth being a discussion on town meeting, but before that, I would like to share with everyone who's watching that the warrant committee and warrant committee chair on Monday at 7 p.m. here in the Duffy Conference Room will be holding a forum to discuss the warrant and the forecast that will be presented at town meeting. That will be a longer forum that we have at town meeting. It is open to the public for folks to come in, to listen, and also have comment and questions on anything before it is presented at town meeting. Town meeting starts on Wednesday this year, so it's 2 full days before, and we're giving folks a little bit of an update right now. We weren't able to put it on the agenda, but I wanted to make sure that everyone knew that here, Monday at 7, warrant committee chair will present you with thoughts on the warrant, as well as the forecast that will be presented at town meeting. So just wanted to get that in before we went through the articles. All right. Mr. Milton, I'll pass it to you to tell me the articles.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have, the warrant is out and available. The only update I'd like to share at this point with the board is that, the planning board has recommended a slight, amendment to Article 42, which is the sign bylaw. In that bylaw, there's a time period that the building commissioner must review a sign permit application. It's listed as 7 days. And in response to a request from the building commissioner to extend that period, the planning board is bringing forward an amendment to take that from 7 days to 30 days after receipt. So that amendment has been approved by the planning board, submitted. I will be sharing it with the warrant committee, for the warrant committee's consideration. If the warrant committee does approve that amendment, it would then be a green sheet that is presented at town meeting with a revised recommendation that would essentially keep the recommendation of the warrant committee as stated in the warrant, which is to approve the articles printed in the warrant with this one modification. Again, that would take the time period for the building commissioner to review an application from 7 days to 30 days, but it doesn't extend or make the review period longer in general, so it doesn't drag that overall review period longer. It just gives that first step a little bit more time within the overall timeframe for a sign application.
Does that need any action from us?
No action at this time. I think prior to town meeting, the select board has not yet voted on its position on the articles. So as we prepare next week prior to town meeting to go through the articles, the board could discuss its position on both the amendment and the sign bylaw more generally.
Thank you. For the new members, previous to town meeting, we do meet in the high school off to the side to discuss anything that may be coming up in the warrant or anything in the meeting that night. So we'll have some of our decisions made that night as well, just an FYI.
Nick, I don't know if you have this context, but is that just sort of a volume bandwidth extra time?
Yes, I think his concern was if he was unable to get to it within 7 days and then it just proceeded and then there was something out of order or defective with the application, it would be missed in that window. It just gives a little bit more time. Generally, these sign permits move pretty quickly. They're not the longest review that's required. This just gives a little bit more breathing room rather than a quick 7-day turnaround. That's all I had in terms of town meeting warrant articles. I'm happy to take questions on specific articles if the members have any, or if there's any discussion the board wants to have, but that's all I had to report related to this time.
To the floor, questions, comments, or anything open on the warrant?
Are the green sheets expected?
I've not, so green sheets would be if the warrant committee's changing its recommendation, so to my knowledge, this is the only one that is in motion right now. In terms of if there are written amendments or motions been presented to the moderator, I don't believe so, but I don't have the latest on that.
I just want more of a comment. I think I understand Nick is doing this for the at town meeting, but Articles 37 to 41 on the renewable energy potential agreements or they're just sort of their own animal kind of agreement, and I think just a little bit of overview of what they are before you launch into that set of agreements, I think would probably help from an efficiency standpoint at the town meeting. Like a small presentation or something like that.
Thank you. Yes, you had reminded me that I had committed to doing that. I have to prepare that. So the intention would be prior to the payment in lieu of taxes article, I think that's 37, might be 36, is to do an overview presentation of that article and each of the subsequent ones, as they're all very similar in stature. So we will prepare that, and I agree. Hopefully that will clearly articulate what the articles are trying to achieve. Thank you.
Thank you. Other comments or questions from the members? We will move forward to item 5, discussion of appointments and reappointments of select board members to town boards and committees. So in the packets, you'll see it's been provided to us, a list of all of our committees, as well as our current appointments. My thought on this was to give this to the members. I'm going to make a couple points of recommendations that I have, but to not do wholesale appointments this evening, to give folks some time to sit with the list, and then before our town meeting, when we meet again, then we can discuss it more in depth. Points or asks that I would have as folks are looking is that I myself would like to stay on the finance subcommittee as well as the budget coordination committee. I believe the work that we have started, I'd like to stay with it for at least another year regarding the budget as well as the coordination committee. I do know that Member Haggerty would like to leave the finance committee, so there will be a spot open there, but she would like to stay with the budget coordination committee. And I also like to have her move to the position of the capital committee that Member Wells will be vacating. I think anyone that's listened to Member Haggerty talk about procurement and operations and the work that she's done for the last 15, 20 years would be incredibly impressed and would love to have her on the capital committee. So I would like as well as the others. Comments? Again, all the others, I think we can take a look, review them, and then we'll come back together next week to discuss, unless there are other points that folks like to make.
Do you want to hear, or would it be for the next meeting to just hear if there's any like preferences or anything like that? Or?
Yeah, that's the hope.
Yeah.
I can throw out one now for Member Nolan, the pilot committee. That's payment in lieu of taxes, and one of the main points that we've been trying to work on is working with the hospital here in Milton about them being a part of that in pilot. And I would just hope that your experience in hospital and hospital operations may help us with that relationship. So something for you to think about. But yes, for everyone to look at what's open, where they think their skill sets fit best, and then we'll discuss it as a group and a team.
If you have any questions about committee activity, kind of expectations, what they've been working on, what they have been working on, we're available. So feel free to reach out in the meantime.
Thanks. So we'll take that up. next convening. So if that's okay, no comments or questions, we'll move to item 6. That is a discussion of our select board goals and objectives. Which we have in front of us as well. This was something that we put together last year during our select board retreat, which we'll be having again this year. This year, we'll discuss the dates. 97 for all of us together to put together all of the goals that we have over the next coming years. Then check them off as we go through them in terms of how well we've done, which we did reach a few of these this year. We'll be getting more in depth at our retreat on these goals and objectives, but it is time for us to look and see what's there now, things that we would like to add, questions we may have, of what the board would like to work on during our time. Floor for points, questions.
So just from a process standpoint on our retreat, we'll like roll up the sleeves a little bit more to talk about sort of auditing where we're at on these. Yeah. How frequently has the select board set these? Do you guys know? Or was this sort of a first in time, these ones?
I think it may have been first in a while.
So we did my first year and then hadn't, and then we did again, so twice in the last 3 years, 3.5 years.
I think the objective for the cadence would be to have it every year at the retreat with the review. We've also had it during our meetings. We've not set necessarily like
We
a
had like a semi-annual.
maybe a 6 month,
Yeah.
but we didn't set an exact date to review it during the year. We did go through our goals maybe about 6 or 7 months in about where we were, but we have not formalized it. So that is something that we can talk about, formalizing our mid-year review.
And what I provided, and I think I may have emailed it already, but what is also printed in that folder was the tracking sheet that provided kind of like a couple of notes on status as so far. So that we spoke about that at a meeting a couple months ago. So maybe about 6 months after they were established. And, that was something you had requested, was to have a check-in, a couple times throughout the year so that they stay top of mind. So.
I think they're great because I think they're really focusing on some of the critical issues right now. So I look forward to, working through them some more. A lot of good progress already.
I think this is something we'll come back to as well, but it's something for us to have. And as you're going through your review, please feel free, everyone, to add goals or objectives that you would like for us to address, and so we can discuss them at the retreat.
One of the things I think we should keep in mind when we develop these goals at the retreat is what can be achieved in the current year. I think with some of them, we were a little bit ambitious, like with the, establishing and maintaining a webpage regarding ongoing large development projects and housing opportunities. I think it's good. We should have that, but I don't know if we thought through how it would take to accomplish that. But I think we've done a lot of this, which is great.
I think we can flag things for multi-year review
Yeah.
as well as multi-year goals.
Yep.
Certainly being better on the web and updating our technology as well, and that may take it's a multi-year process. Look at those with that eye as well.
We have smart goals.
Smart goals. Oh boy. Coming back to my private sector days.
Don't make me do a red, yellow, green.
But we haven't.
Maybe we should.
Maybe we should. We can have a risk register too. No.
All good ideas.
Yep.
One thing in the context of the retreat and goal setting, one thing we did do last year is we did have somebody come in and help kind of guide the discussion. It's not something we've talked about whether that was fully successful or great or what the reactions were, but that's not something I've started to try to coordinate. Do the members feel comfortable leading it yourselves, or do you want to try to have a facilitator join depending on availability?
Let's put that to the floor first.
Can I clarify the question? What are we asking a facilitator to do again?
So what we had them work with members to retrieve ideas, pull all the ideas together and help try to guide the conversation to try to keep the conversation focused so that at least there's somebody the individual that we used is somebody that I know who served in a number of roles and as a town manager in a number of communities on an interim basis and a permanent basis. So it kind of seen and understands this world and helping boards, come together on a retreat to talk about roles, responsibilities, and goals and objectives. So just because it had been the first time in a while, we had felt it helpful. But we didn't really debrief on.
We didn't debrief on doing it again.
So that was a small expense to have somebody up here to help guide the conversation.
I mean, help is always nice, but my personal view is when you do this, the most constructive portion is when you sort of, the people who will actually be working on the goals kind of convene and just break them down and talk them through together. So I'm not, my thought would be, I'm not sure it's necessary, but I defer to if you guys were involved in it last year.
I think we have enough skill as a team to do the goals and objectives piece. What I do think, Nick, if you're comfortable doing it, I forget the guy's name.
Jeff Nutting.
He was really good at taking us through roles and responsibilities from even just like an outside of Milton perspective, just general town government in Massachusetts. What does that look like? I found it to be really educational. I could see it going either way.
Thoughts? I think for me, I actually would prefer if it was just our group and the town administrator, assistant town administrator. I felt the facilitator last year was really good about gathering us, but I wanted to spend more time being really Milton specific and going very granular. And I didn't think we got as much time as that. And where we are now, I would really like it if that time was us all together going as deep as we possibly can in the time that we have. If there are items that the town administrator has not had a chance to present to us, if there are things that we have not been as forceful on or may have overlooked, I would like it to be really Milton specific. The context of other towns I thought was really good, but I think for our next year, I would really like us to be talking about, just as we're talking about forecasting in our budget, us putting together, and even, wish casting, dreaming big about things that could happen here and everything else, putting that together. I'm not gonna ask what the facilitator costs.
Not much. That was easy.
Right. Are we saying no facilitator? So we're clear?
Going
John,
with
what do you
the-
think?
I wasn't there last year, so I'm going by the two people that were there.
Yeah.
It sounds like you wanna just go without it.
Yeah.
So I'll go without it.
We can do it.
So there'll be no referee.
Maybe you're the referee.
I don't know.
No, Nick is always our referee.
Yeah.
All right, so any other thoughts on board goals or objectives?
When you guys set these, did you have a time frame? And maybe that's your point, Megan, about identifying now
Yeah, it's
what's
like,
realistic.
yeah, I mean, this is kind of like a wish list. I think, just looking back on how they're written, it seems as though we were looking with a 1-year time horizon, but we never truly discussed that or truly questioned each other. will this get done in a year? But, you know, and some things are perhaps ongoing, right? But, you know, when I read something like complete the fire station projects by bringing approval for the Atherton Street Station to town meeting and voters by fall 2026, spring 2027. That's a pretty time bound, very specific, actionable item that we are going to get done.
That's the point to have for the retreat, us being much more specific in our, not necessarily deadlines, but our timeframes, how long we think these things are gonna take. Other thoughts? I will just jump ahead to the select board retreat dates, as we're talking about the board retreat. We are choosing between Saturday, June 6th, 13th, or the 27th. Do we have preferences?
I have my college reunion the weekend of the 6th. I forgot that.
So 6th is out.
I told Nick I could do the 6th, but it turned out.
So 13th or 27th?
And I'm away the 27th in DC.
You know what, that's good, because the 27th is bad for me too. So,
The 13th.
13th? All right. Time? What do we did mornings?
Start early to be done, or however you would like to handle it.
Start at 5 AM.
John's already up.
I'll be awake.
I'd be awake too.
I'll be just going.
Get it done and get out.
Saturday, 10 a.m.? No? Anyone wants to?
Where do you have?
I think that goes against Nick's idea of a start early, finish
Is
early.
that not a start early?
10
We live
a.m.?
in different worlds. All right. 9 a.m. on a Saturday?
I think 10.
10?
I'm new here, so I'll do whatever you would like to do.
10?
Whatever.
10 a.m. 10 a.m. June 13th.
Where do you have it?
We had it here last year. Previously we were at the COA, so I think they've gone to Curry before. So generally,
Right in town.
anywhere. But we're not.
We're not like going far away. This is-
We'll be in Milton. And if folks are okay with this room, we can plan to.
We're going to your house.
Come on up. See all the 40Bs
Yeah.
being built around me. You're more than welcome.
Okay.
Yeah, now that we have these new chairs, I'm all
Don't
for
get
it.
mad when I go to the business phone, when it rings.
Okay.
All right, so June 13th, 10 a.m. here. Are we slotting the time? 2 hours? What was it last year? About 2 hours?
And so what we'll do is I'll solicit ideas from everybody to do some of that consolidation work, to avoid any open meeting law snafu. So we'll reach out ahead of time to solicit goals. We'll provide an update on the tracking sheet, so folks see where we've been, and then we'll consolidate that and distribute ahead of the meeting, so you can do some prep as well.
I'll get the coffee and pastries.
Ooh.
On emails, everyone be careful about the reply all. It does sometimes throw us into an open meeting violation, so try not to reply all. Reply directly to the sender. All right, Saturday, June 13th, 10 a.m. here. Okay. Now on to our other future meeting dates. Town meeting starting May 6th and the 7th. Hopefully we are done in those 2 days. If not, we move into May 11th, May 12th, and perhaps the 13th. If we are all the way to May to the 13th, we have done something incredibly well.
And I will note, our plan would be to meet on the 6th at 6:30. If that's okay for everybody. For the meeting on the 7th, I think we can post for 7 p.m. for the select board meeting. Town meeting starts at 7:30, so unless there's any conflicts with the 6:30 start on Wednesday. So we'll post for 6:30 on Wednesday and 7 for Thursday.
for our official board meetings. I believe we have the 26th currently scheduled. Tuesday, May 26th for our first large meeting as a group. And June 9th, the follow-up. Are both of those okay?
And our cadence had been the second and fourth Tuesdays of each night.
So that would put us at then June 23rd after that, right? Second and fourth.
I didn't know we got to give feedback. I thought we just had to be here.
Well, second and fourth, there are times when if, especially in
Yeah.
the summer vacations, we've gone around, we try to accommodate where things come up, but usually the second and fourth. So that will set our cadence and move into item 8, future agenda items. My thought is that some of these agenda items will come out of our retreat, but if there are anything that comes to mind now for the members in terms of things we would like to see or discuss on a future agenda.
I have really enjoyed the practice that we have of having the department heads come and present their current state and challenges to us. So I hope we'll continue that practice. Nick, have we gotten through everybody, all the department heads in town, or how are we doing?
It's on that tracking sheet. I can look.
Oh, okay.
We haven't quite got there. I know. I don't think we've had the treasurer in. We haven't had, right? No. So treasurer, finance director, HR director, cemetery superintendent, and then parks. I think
They're on
otherwise
their
we've
own,
gotten
right?
to everybody. Sorry.
Parks are on their own, right?
There's still an elected board, but we've had the others in just to explain what all those departments are working on. And,
Parks would be good because they presented that big master plan for the fields, so we got to get an update on where they are with that as well.
And I'll just note as a reminder for the 26th is that's the date we've been planning to have Mass DOT come in regarding Randolph Ave. So they've kept that on the calendar for the 26th.
Fab update on May 26th.
They were out taking counts a couple weeks ago in April. So that's the biggest action item in May. That's on the radar.
Are they planning on sending us any items for discussion for this May meeting with Mass DOT? 'Cause I think this is at least coming close to the end of this trial period.
It'll be basically a debrief of the pilot, their findings. We're having a internal conversation that's on our calendars for a couple weeks from today, I think. So we'll see kind of what they're preparing to present. They'll be coming in to make a presentation, make their report, and a recommendation is my expectation.
And then our discussion on any adjustments or if we're going to stay as is. Any other items? I would just ask that, I think I asked too with not enough lead time last time. I'd really like to talk to the planning board. We get to talk to the school committee a lot and others. We haven't had a chance to have real just substantive discussion about what they're working on and what they're seeing as well. So, love to have them in.
Okay, I can work with them on a date, one of the 2 June dates perhaps.
Actually, I will speak to one thing that I'm not sure if the newer members will be CC'd on. It will be on perhaps the agenda for our next meeting, but the school committee, in partnership with us, created a new policy around disbursement of funds and
with next meeting with DOT, would representatives from the traffic commission be here too, or? I'm not saying they should or shouldn't, but it just tied to the second part of my question. It's just gonna be about the, the cadence that we're communicating with the commission. Just, I mean, is it ad hoc, when issues come up, or, it just seems like it's a busy area. Maybe it's a long way saying sooner or later, it might be nice to have the traffic commission, come back for.
We could certainly coordinate that. Traffic commission is largely staff, so that's pretty easy. But they'll be with me when we have the internal meeting with MassDOT.
Okay.
So
Okay.
not necessarily in attendance that night, but I believe when MassDOT came before, we had DPW and police in the room as well. But we can coordinate a traffic conversation, and as this traffic calming policy and plan process that is included in the fiscal 27 budget, if approved by town meeting, moves forward, there will be a lot more specific conversations around that as well.
Thoughts? If not, I will accept a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Yeah, you're so
Mr.
moved.
Driscoll.
Second.
I will, yeah.
Take a second, Mr. Sharma.
A regular.
So, everyone,
Aye.
Aye.
thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks. Congrats.
Congratulations.